It ain't but one guy. Hold on. There's but one guy. We ain't but one guy. It ain't but one guy keeping him away from him. That's Terence Crawford.
Hey,
but one guy.
Everyone in the room picked you to win. Everyone that I asked. Everyone.
Except for me, guess what?
Because I heard he could really play.
No. He can't even be Shakur.
He can't fuck with me.
So, you.
What's Shakur lied to you?
You lost. I seen the videos.
You ain't seen my video.
Oh, I didn't.
Exactly.
I just seen the video.
Exactly. What would happen? Exactly.
Now that you take care of business, how does you and Devin Haney end? How does that fight go?
Knockout.
Say this.
Devin Haney being at 147, he called Devin Haney out. What do you think about that fight if it's 1 or 2 fights away?
It's kind of a tough fight right now because Devin Haney is right back at the top of his game. Devin showed that the weight loss was probably causing him to not have as good punch resistance, and it also probably wasn't causing him to have as much power or explosiveness as he has. He showed tremendous power, tremendous punch resistance in that fight against Norman, and for him to do that means that the weight was probably an issue. Now, if Keyshawn comes up, or if they even do a catch weight, a 143, 144, it's gonna be a very interesting fight because I think Devin has more tools and more IQ right now, but Keyshawn is different. So when you got a guy that's different, and that's why I also see
Terence Crawford sends a warning to Devin Haney, putting his money on Keyshawn Davis and saying Haney could have serious problems dealing with Davis's power and non-stop pressure.
I said I guarantee he'll beat you though.
How you gonna bet on somebody else?
I'm gonna bet on him against you.
I will beat you.
No, you can't beat me, but I bet he beat you and I beat you.
Crawford doubled down on his message to Haney, explaining that boxing can humble anyone who overlooks a hungry fighter like Keyshawn Davis, especially with the strength and drive Davis brings.
Sport chew you up and spit you out. You know, out with the old and with the new.
Ali, well, as y'all were asking me questions, I think about Muhammad.
Keyshawn Davis is getting strong support from Shakur Stevenson and Terence Crawford, who treat him like family, and Shakur believes Davis has learned a lot from him and that this is his moment.
We kinda having our, f that, nigga. Come on.
Yeah.
We getting past that, and that was your turn, and I'm not gonna allow and sit back and allow you to even waste that talent that you got, because I've been told, Key, for years, bro, you could be one of the best. All you gotta do is just, boom, discipline.
You know, with both of y'all being the best, they always gonna want it. And
they
I
gotta
know
come with it.
You know they always gonna want to see it, though. You know everybody always gonna want to see it.
We get to see it.
Keyshawn Davis says talks are already happening and assures fans that a fight with Devin Haney is planned for 2026, setting up one of the most awaited matchups in boxing.
Let's do it. You know, I know he's dealing with some legal issues. I don't know what happened. He said he had to turn himself in, but I believe he tweeted like, Keyshawn, let's do it. I mean,
he said that?
Yeah, but he tweeted like something like that. Yeah.
Well, you know, Bill was in my DMs. We already was talking about it, honestly, before he even hit the media. So I know it's going to happen in 2026.
And you're good going straight to Devin in your first fight at 47?
If it makes money, it makes sense.
Right, 100%. Obviously, I want to get your take on your brother. Shakur, dominant performer.
Roy Jones Jr. spoke highly of Keyshawn Davis, pointing to the tough opponents he has faced, his quickness, and his overall talent, calling him a future star in the sport.
Competition. He's fought some elite guys. He's come up short, but he's always fought hard. He's never been stopped. I thought Keyshawn looked really, really good early on in that fight. He looked very poised, and Jermaine was fighting a fight that you typically don't see him fight. Jermaine is known for being very physical, very rough, and he's going to make it dirty if he has to. He was laying back, and it looked like he was allowing Keyshawn to take some ground and get established, but then Ortiz flipped the script and changed the game plan. He started to get into his normal bag of roughhousing and making things dirty. And I said, man, I like that. I was telling Shakur, I was in the locker room watching. I said, I like what he did right there, because he went away, let you get comfortable, and then he said, no, here I am. I'm going to be the guy that you actually thought you was going to be fighting, but I'm not going to do it in the first round. You saw Keyshawn have to make some adjustments too.
Roy Jones Jr. also advised Davis to take 1 or 2 more fights before stepping in with Devin Haney so he can be fully prepared for that level of challenge.
You understand me? So when you gotta have that intangibleness about him, where he can be a different guy when it's time to be a different guy, you can never count him out. However, if I were pushing Keyshawn, I would have another fight or 2 before I fight Devin, just for experience purposes. And if I was Devin, I would try to jump on it right now before he gets those couple fights, because the more experience he gets, the harder he's gonna become to beat.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough fight, for Keyshawn Davis. And I think in many respects, Devin Haney too. You can't take Keyshawn Davis light. He can really fight. He's really like that. The weight difference is a concern, and it's a fair question. Is he ready now? Is he ready a fight or two from now? But that's the fight, really. If you really want to scream, I'm back. That's the type of fight that you want, because obviously it's in the Turkey Al-Sheikh universe, and that's a fight that's going to...
Greg Hackett shared his honest thoughts on a possible Davis versus Haney fight, saying matchups like this are exactly what boxing needs. He explained that when fighters understand each other's abilities, the pressure rises and the sport benefits. Hackett stressed that fans want top fighters facing top fighters, like Haney versus Shakur Stevenson, Haney versus Teofimo Lopez, and now Davis versus Haney. These fights separate true elite fighters from those who are not on that level, since lower-tier opponents cannot match them physically or mentally.
We need fights like that is because there's things each one of them know about each other. They know that those are great fights. We need those fights. We need those fights. We need the Dev and Shakur. We need the Dev and Tio. We need the Africa and Shakur, the Africa and Tio. We need the Gary Antoine mixed in there. We need the Lamont Roach mixed in there. It's a lot of guys. The Abdullah Masons mixed in there. It's a lot of guys we need mixed in there. You know what I'm saying? These are the fights we need. Those other guys, the B class, C class guys, they can't keep up with them, either physically or mentally, or both together. They can't keep up with them. You see it.
What kind of message do you think Keyshawn, made it in possibly the 40 to 47 division, beating Jermaine Ortiz the way he did?
I mean, I don't know. 47 is a different division. That was at 140.
Hackett also talked about Davis's win over Jermaine Ortiz, noting that while it looked strong at 140 pounds, moving to 147 will bring new challenges. Still, he doesn't think Davis is too small, reminding people that fighters often appear bigger on TV. For Hackett, the key question is whether Davis can stay steady and focused as he moves up. With his skill, background, and hunger, Hackett believes Davis can compete, and a fight with Haney would be the kind of high-level clash boxing needs.
Is he too small for 147? He looked good at 40.
No, I don't think he's too small. These guys only look real big on TV. When you see these guys in person, they don't be that big. You know what I'm saying? So he's not too small, no. The thing is, with Keyshawn, can he keep it together? Can he keep it together mentally? If he can keep it together mentally, then we see great fights out of Keyshawn. If he do that he say he been doing, which I don't know if he was lying or not, saying that he was drinking in camp and shit like that, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's a lie. I don't know if it's, if he was telling the truth. I don't know. But if he can keep it together mentally, then we see great fights out of Keyshawn.
Say Keyshawn Davis and Devin Haney happen next. Who would you favor?
It's tough to...
An analyst recently reacted to Keyshawn Davis, claiming no one can beat him from 140 to 147 pounds. Davis has openly talked about wanting Devin Haney next before moving to welterweight, a division many see as lacking excitement right now. The analyst explained that the welterweight class has few fresh matchups, with fighters like Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios already busy, leaving room for new names to shake things up.
40 to 47. And he says he wants to fight Jermaine Ortiz and then move up to welterweight, which would be perfect because, like I told you, I really am the best in this business. Like, everything I say is like clockwork, right? It's amazing to me. Sometimes I amaze myself. So what am I talking about? I literally just said welterweight is dry. It's a stale, stagnant, horrible division right now. Not too many ways to mix and match the guys. And then the guys you could mix and match are pretty much busy. The Ryans, the Barrioses, and the Rollies, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video. And I told you it's going to require, this is how it works in the sport of boxing. I know because I've been here.
The analyst added that boxing grows when fighters change weight classes and create new rivalries. He pointed to examples like Jaron Boots Ennis moving from 147 to 154 and bringing life to that division with fighters such as Sebastian Fundora, Virgil Ortiz, Jermel Charlo, and Errol Spence. He believes welterweight could see the same boost if fighters like Davis, Shakur Stevenson, and Gary Antoine Russell move up. For Davis, This step would test him against bigger men and give fans the big fights they want. The analyst feels Davis's confidence and goals could help bring attention back to welterweight.
Can't make 40 anymore, just like Jarambus Ennis couldn't make 47, and he moved up to 154. Now 54 is cracking. They got 54 out here cracking. Tons of names where you can mix and match the Funduras, the Virgil Ortiz, Jermell Charlo, possibly Errol Spence, Murtazaev, Boots, right? You got tons of ways you can mix and match these people. 47 right now is dry, so it's going to take Shakur's and the Keyshawns and Gary Antoine Russells or the El Rayos, you know, different Edwin De Los Santos, Matias, different guys to move up to start to purge and like fill out the division. Right now, it's not many options. Again, Devin versus Louis Crockpot is a terrible fight, and I don't know anyone that wants to see.
Keyshawn Davis has now confirmed he will fight Louis Crocker before facing Devin Haney, even though he called out Haney right after knocking out Jermaine Ortiz. This decision sparked debate because Davis never mentioned Crocker in that interview and focused only on Haney. With the deal now set, Davis says fighting Crocker first is part of a plan to improve his position for negotiations with Haney.
Fight Devin Haney. So, after you knocked out Jermaine Ortiz, let me get this straight. After you stopped Jermaine Ortiz, you made no mention of Louis Crocker. The first name you called out was Devin Haney, and the only name. Unless I missed the rest of the interview. And now you saying you had a deal in place to fight Louis Crocker next. And then if it's worth your while, then you'll fight Devin Haney. Because, and I get it, he believes that he needs to get this belt from Louis Crocker for them to value him the way he wants to be valued.
The explanation is simple. Crocker holds a title that Davis believes will raise his value before a Haney fight. Critics argue that calling out Haney while knowing Crocker was next sends mixed signals and looks like chasing attention. Fans expected Davis to go straight at Haney, but boxing politics often change plans. By beating Crocker, Davis boosts his leverage and strengthens his case for Haney. Some see it as smart planning, others see it as misleading, but Davis remains one of boxing's most discussed rising fighters, and the buildup toward Haney keeps growing.
Fight in negotiations with leverage with Devin Haney. I get it. So what's the point in calling out Devin Haney? Why didn't you tell the world, I'm going to fight Louis Crocker next? Because he knows it's not going to be acceptable. If he came out and he says, after Jermaine Ortiz, I'm fighting Louis Crocker, he knows that the fans ain't going to accept that. So he's saying Devin Haney multiple times because he understands what Devin Haney represents. This is what many people will call clout chasing. So you're using Devin Haney's name, but you know you have no intentions of fighting him next? Make this make sense. It all makes sense.